I'm Amy Sidwell, and I'm a physical therapist at Sports Plus Aquatherapies. Tonight I'm going to be talking about exercises that you can do at your desk. And this actually came out of one of our Wellness Champion meetings when Tiffany had brought up, she usually brings up all kinds of activities that are going on in the community, and so many of them are geared toward people that are already fit, or well on their way to fitness. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, gosh, there needs to be something that really we can get people started with exercise. And so this lady right here actually raised her hand. She's like, we just need some exercises to do at our desk. And so I was like, yes, because as a physical therapist, every single day I see somebody that either they have a chronic illness or they have an injury. They have something that's holding them back from being as physically active as they want to be. So this is really a way to bring exercise to everybody. So I'm used to meeting those needs, and I'm excited to share with you some exercises that you can do at your desk or that you can do in a seated position. For the most part, they're all seated. But let's go ahead and get started. And I wanted to make sure that really everybody was on the same page. So for people that have not exercised before, we really need to take a few steps backward, and you need to know what exercise is. So physical activity is anything that makes you move your body and burn calories. So I know you probably have an image in your head of what you think exercise is. And it may be going to a gym, it may be getting on a treadmill, getting on an elliptical, doing something like that. Well, let's go ahead and shatter that image right away, because exercise can take many different forms. So it's anything that makes you move your body and burn calories. Here are the guidelines from the American Heart Association, and this is to increase cardiovascular health. They recommend that you get 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise. So that's a lot of numbers for me. So just think of it like this: 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And then the best thing is the last point down here, and that is that you will experience benefits even if you divide your time out into 2 to 3 segments of 10 to 15 minutes each. Every day I hear somebody say, I don't have time to exercise. And I'm like, well, let me tell you, because everybody has about 10 minutes that they can spare a couple of times a day. I can guarantee you people get on their phones and play Candy Crush or play some other game or sit on their couch and watch a TV show. It's just us trying to manage our time better and make a choice to be healthier. So I love that you can do these segments of exercise and still get that benefit. And I also want you to remember, something is always better than nothing, okay? I see people derail themselves all the time, whether they're trying to eat healthier or they're trying to exercise. Let's say they haven't exercised in 3 days and they're like, oh, forget it, I'm never going to do this again. Well, they're not helping themselves. They can go ahead and make that choice. Well, the next opportunity that I get, I'm going to exercise. Or if they've eaten something that they didn't think was healthy, then they say, oh, forget it, I'm going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to try to lose weight anymore. Well, it's just about us making healthy decisions, one decision at a time. So who cares if you messed up? Get right back on it as soon as you can. Okay? So don't let your all or nothing thinking rob you of doing what you can every single day. And even if you're sedentary, even if you've never exercised before, start from somewhere. Okay? If you can do 5 minutes, 5 minutes is better than no minutes, and slowly build yourself up. Okay? I also like to make sure my patients know what the pros and cons are of exercise. And of course, they're in a therapy situation, and I'm like, well, if you don't do this exercise, you're not going to be able to do whatever it is, and it's whatever it is that's important to them. And I just give them the pros and cons. I want them to know why they're doing it and what will happen if they don't do it. And here's some of the consequences of us being inactive. Overweight. Look at that statistic. 68% of all adults are obese or overweight. And so if we don't move, we're going to be overweight. Today in our lives, there's a lot more technology available. And because of that, we tend to be less active because our jobs now we can do right where we're at, or we can have a laptop with us wherever we go, or a phone that connects. So our jobs are more technology based. There's less jobs that are physically demanding. And in highly populated cities, there's better mass transportation. So instead of people walking to and from their job, they're getting on some kind of transportation and going. Okay. Extra weight costs us physically and financially as well. And you can see that American companies, $225.8 billion per year in health-related productivity losses because of obesity. And you can also see that an obese employee costs an employer an additional $460 to $2,500 in medical costs and sick days per year. So those are our consequences right there. So now we're getting to it. What do you need to know? You need to know how to exercise. Well, I'm going to show you that. Okay? You need to know how to monitor yourself during exercise. And you need to know how to adjust your intensity of your exercise. So those are 3 things that you need to know for sure. So we're going to go ahead and figure out how to take your pulse. Okay? To take your pulse, get your arm out. Okay? Find the thumb side. You're going right inside the thumb side with 2 fingers, and you're pressing lightly. Okay? You should be able to feel that. Let me get out my handy dandy technology here. And I'm going to do a 10-second count. I'm going to tell you when to start and when to stop. And I want you to count your 10-second pulse, okay? Ready? And go. And stop, okay? So write that number down if you have to, okay? But y'all are at rest. So that's going to figure into your resting heart rate. So you count your pulse for 10 seconds, which we did, and to get your beats per minute, you multiply that by 6. Okay? I hate math, so whenever I think about numbers, I'm like, oh, I'd rather just count a whole minute, but that's just me. You want to stay between 50% to 85% of your maximum heart rate, and that formula is 220 minus your age, and that gives you your maximum heart rate. And then you multiply that by your what you want to stay in. So 220 minus your age times 0.50 for your 50%, or up to 0.85, and that's going to give you your target. Now, if you're exercising in a gym, you're going to see this. Okay, I love these. Takes the math out of it since I hate math. Okay, but you'll find these a lot of gyms. It's a heart rate chart, and it's a 10-second count. So you can find your age, and you can go over, and this one shows your heart rate 55% to 85%. And so you can already tell based on what you did on your 10-second count, are you already in a target heart rate? You know, are you below that? So it lets you know where you are and how hard you can work. Now, I'm 45, and if I wanted to exercise at that 70% mark, okay, my 10-second count would want to be at 20 beats. If I was only at 16, I would need to work harder at whatever I'm doing. I would want to move a little faster so that I could get my heart rate up to that 20. If it was 25 and I didn't want to work that hard, I was struggling at that, then I would need to move a little slower to get my heart rate down into that range. So we've already learned how to take your pulse, how to monitor yourself, and how to adjust your intensity. Okay. So these are just guidelines, but I love them. Okay, and this is another way to do it too. It's a rate of perceived exertion scale. It's a way that you can look at it. It has very good correlation to your target heart rate. So you could look at this scale. It goes from 7 to 20. And if you're working anywhere from the somewhat hard to hard, you're in that range of 60 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. So you can do that. And when you're exercising, you should be able to talk with someone. If you're and you can't talk to somebody, then you're going too fast. You need to slow down. So that's called the talk test. So you should be able to talk or sing as you're exercising. I don't think anybody would want to hear me sing. So let's get started at your desk. Let's try this, why don't we, okay? Or the back bend. No, I'm just kidding. There is no way in the world that I could do either one of those things. So this is what I'm not talking about when we say exercise at our desk. This is not what I want you to do. But I do want to show you some very real things that you can do sitting down. And if you want to go along with it, if you want to do some of these things in your chair, I've given you the resistance bands, so you can try those as we go along. And I think you should have plenty of space in here. Just scoot your chair back a little bit and you should be fine. Okay? Shoulder rolls. Okay? If you do sit at a desk, do y'all sit at a desk, or are y'all up and? Sit at a desk. Okay. So if you're sitting for long periods of time, your posture may look like this. You know, you get more tired, your shoulders roll in, your head goes out. So we need to combat that bad posture. So this is one that will help. It's just rolling your shoulders backward, okay? And all of these you can do about 10 times, you know. Okay, very easy. Shoulder blade squeezes, right where you are. Just squeeze your shoulder blades back and then relax. Do one more. Squeeze and relax. Okay, again, that's getting us out of that bad posture because it's strengthening our muscles and our shoulder blades. Okay, here's a resistance band exercise. Okay, you can get your band out. And I love these things because they're portable. Okay, you have this band, you can fold it up, you can stick it in your purse, you can stick it in your desk drawer. Now the problem with the desk drawer, and let me tell you, is that if you throw it in a drawer that's got ink pens and letter openers and safety pins and paper clips, there's a possibility that you'll get a puncture in this band. So take a look at it every single time before you work with it. Make sure that there's not a hole or a tear in it, because if there is, it will pop on you and it will not feel good. So take care of your band and it will take care of you. Okay. So grab that band right out in front of you and pull it out. Good. And back in. Okay, so that's a good way to strengthen those back muscles. So this is a little harder than the scapular squeeze. You're pulling out and you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. Okay? All right. The next one, put your band down just for a second because we're going to try something different, but we'll pick it up again and use it. This is an isometric exercise. All that means is you're not moving your joint, but you're still contracting your muscle. So put one hand on top of the table, put another hand underneath the table. Okay, the one that's on top, you're pushing down. The one that's on the bottom, you're pulling up. So do that, hold it for 5 seconds, and relax. Do one more that way, and relax. Now switch and do it again. Now what you'll probably notice is not only are you exercising your arms, you're probably having to tighten up your stomach muscles as well. Okay, so you're doing several different muscle groups at one time. Okay, and nobody even has to know you're doing that. I mean, you know, it is. Bicep curls. Get your band back out. Okay. Now this first picture shows someone using a band that she's actually holding it down with your feet. Your band is not that long. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold one end down. Okay, and the other one you're going to pull up. Okay, you're just bending your elbow. Okay, so you may have to hold it pretty close to one another. So one's down, and you're just pulling it up, just like that. And you're working this muscle right here. Okay. Triceps is the muscle that's on the back of the arm. Okay. And so this one you're going to hold up here. And you hold the bottom hand is the one that's going to work. And so you're pulling downward and back up. Pulling down and back up. So that's working the back of the arm muscle. Okay. Now this person has it actually anchored. Okay. So it's a little bit different, but you just have to remember that when you're working away from wherever it's anchored. So your anchor is your upper arm. So you're working away from it. You're pulling it down away from the anchor. Okay, arm exercises. It shows this lady and she's lifting cans. So if you're at home and you don't have any weights, just pick up some canned goods and just lift those. If you're at work and you bring a water bottle, I think I have my water bottle. You could use that water bottle and you can lift it up and down. So you can lift your arms up. You can lift your arms up. I would start small, 1 pound, 2 pounds, especially if you haven't been exercising, because the tendency is to overdo it. And, if you go out and get your 5 pound weights and you do it 20 times, tomorrow you're so sore you don't want to exercise anymore. So start small, start your repetitions low, and then work up. Okay. A desk push-up. Okay. Now this looks a little hard. Okay, first thing, make sure that your desk is not going to slide. Okay. Second of all, make sure that your shoes are not going to slide if you have slippery shoes. So we want to make sure that you're safe, but you're just doing a push-up. It's a really good workout for your upper body. If doing it right there on the desk is too hard, go to a wall. Okay, I can do a push-up on the wall, and that's going to be easier. And then you can work to where you're doing it on the desk. And I think in that handout from the HEP to go, I put both kinds in there, so that you would have an easier one and then a harder one. Okay, seated marching. Okay, when I did this one at home, I did this one for like a minute. And then that's something that you can work up on. But you're just marching as you're sitting in your chair. And I like the way this is pictured because she's using her arms too, which is going to give you more of a workout. So if your heart rate's not getting up there, add those arms. And you can even add them by reaching up or reaching out. So combining movements to give you a little more of a workout. Okay, knee extension. Make sure you don't kick anything under the table or under your desk, but all you're doing is just straightening your leg out and lowering it back down. Okay, you can also do it by kicking it out and holding it in that position and letting that quadriceps muscle, that thigh muscle, work longer and harder and then lower it down. So that's a good leg exercise. Okay. This one, you can do this one. This helps with circulation because a lot of people, when they sit for long periods of time, their ankles get swollen. But you just heel and toe raises. You can do them as it's pictured down below where her legs are actually straight. So you're getting a little more leg workout, pointing and flexing the feet. Or you can do it with your feet on the floor and just lift your toes up and then lift your heels up. So either way. A chair squat, okay? It's just like what it's shown there. You're just squatting down. When you feel the chair, you get back up. Squat down, get up. And it's just like there. Do you notice how flat her back is? Okay, you're not hunching forward. You're keeping your back flat. You're keeping your stomach muscles pulled in as you do that. And your feet are flat on the floor. in this picture, and you may not can see that very well, she's got on heels. You know, I hope you have on flats because that'll be better for you. But just keep the weight on the foot. Keep the heels pushing down through the floor. You don't want to raise up on your toes on that one. Abdominals. Now this one's kind of hard. I'm just going to warn you. You're sitting in your chair, got your hands on the chair, and you're lifting your knees up at the same time. Okay? If you feel strain in your back, then you're not ready for this one yet. Okay? And then this abdominal one, everybody can do. Okay? Your hands are behind your head, and you're lifting. Now you may not can touch your opposite knee, but you're aiming in that direction. So it's working those stomach muscles. Okay, feel that? Oh. And then you may not can see these really well, but these are anybody that's on a computer for a long time. Okay, the first one, you're stretching out in front of you. So feel free to do this, stretch out in front. Okay, next one, stretch up above. Okay. Lean to the side. Lean to the other side. Stretch back up. Arms down. Shrug your shoulders up. Shrug them down. Stretch the head out to the side. Stretch it to the other side. Okay. Take your hands, prayer position, and then flip them down the other way. Okay, so those are all really good if you're on the computer or you have a son or a daughter that's a gamer. And then I've included this link right here. This is SparkPeople.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a great website. They have nutritional things, they have exercise things, and this link is for an 11-minute chair workout. And I'm telling you, I only did 6 minutes of it because I didn't have time to do the whole thing, and it will get your heart rate up there. So write that down or just write SparkPeople.com. It is a free website, and you can just type in that 11-minute chair cardio workout in the search thing, and it will come up. But SparkPeople is a great resource, and I like it because it's free. So y'all get that? And then remember this, no matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everybody on the couch. Okay? So be encouraged, and I wish you well in your journey for health. And if I can answer any questions, or if you need me, you can contact me at my email, amy.sidwell@wth.org, or just